Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, it is exciting today to present to you a change in our Toastmaster Club. Now, over the years, we have had many officers and many presidents, all who have implemented practices and procedures to help benefit our club and to help benefit each club member. Many of these things we now practice and use as if we've always had them, and they're ingrained as part of our club structure. I hope that this new procedure will also become such an integral part of our club that we will not recognize it as a change, but as something that we're glad is always here. And so I present to you, after discussion with our officers, the plan and procedure that we will now have every member with a responsibility. The way we will do this is very practical. We have 7 officers, each elected into their roles. And what we would like to do is to create committees with the officer as the committee head, so committees underneath each elected officer. In this procedure, or in this plan, we believe that each member will become more engaged and that we'll be able to continue to develop the communication and leadership skills that Toastmasters perpetuates. We will make this effective immediately and begin looking to connect those who aren't officers in an area that they would like to serve in. You can approach the officer, but ultimately it will be the officer to appoint their committee members. And by the new season, the new year of election, we will be able to have this fully running smoothly. So you may be saying to me, but Mr. President, how do we engage more people when sometimes it's hard just to get an elected officer? That is a great question. I believe there's a few reasons why sometimes it is hard to find an elected officer. One reason may be the fact that they don't know about the role or the position that they would be volunteering to work with. In this new practice, we would have people in training, people who would be able to work alongside the elected officer and find out about ways that they could then do the job that they would be volunteering for. They would also be able to receive coaching and mentoring. In practicality, we could theoretically have, with a large enough club, 3 people on each committee. The former elected officer, the current elected officer as the head of the committee and the elected officer, and a future potential candidate for a future officer role. You may be saying, but Mr. President, how will we have enough work to do with all these people doing all these things? Can they really do that many things in the secretary role? That is another great question. The neat thing about Toastmasters is there's many opportunities to do many different things. In the role of secretary, one of the things that we do in our club is we take notes, we take minutes, and then send those out. How nice would it be for other people to learn that skill and rotate that around if you had 2 or 3 members of that committee? There's other opportunities to share responsibilities, to learn new things, and I think continue to develop the skills and club members' abilities. One of the vice president's roles of public relations involves engaging community members. Having a committee in an effort to grow club membership or to do other aspects and reaching out, we would be able to develop these skills and focus with more people on that committee. So we could be having liaisons between other clubs in our area. We could have people that have certain responsibilities that we currently don't have because it's all under one person. The second thing that I think would occur is new responsibilities would bubble up. Things that we think we haven't thought of before, and we would think that's a great idea. By having more people engaged in those roles, more can get accomplished without overburdening more than one person. Which goes back to the concept of having participation of officers. We sometimes get burnt out or overwhelmed, but by having multiple people in a role, nobody should feel too overwhelmed. So these are the changes that I would like to institute. And as officers, we've discussed. I would like to open it up for a few questions to see any other questions that I haven't answered. And you don't have to address me as Mr. President. Any questions? Kathy?
Yes, I'm not going to address you as Mr. President, Mr. President. I think this is a wonderful idea to get people involved. My question would be, are we allowed to do something like that within the Toastmasters organization?
That is a great question, Kathy. Thank you so much. I will speak boldly and will say that because we are not changing the elected officer club roles, we are continuing with that process and simply adding on the opportunity to assist that club officer. You're allowed to have committees within your club, and we're organizing the committees under the role. If for some reason we find out from Toastmasters International, we will consult with them, then we will adjust our plans and procedures to stay in compliance. But at this point, we don't see that that would be a conflict of interest. Any other questions? We have time for one more. Yes, Mark.
Are we aware of any other clubs in the area doing this and how it's worked out?
A fantastic question. I have consulted with an area director who believes in this model and is working to try and implement the concept. But we will be the first to implement that, and I believe set the trend and precedence for many others to proceed forward. I am excited to live and fulfill the International Toastmasters vision, which is to empower individuals to fulfill their potential and realize their dreams, to increase communication skills and their leadership skills, and find the power to change. I believe we can find this power to change and help all of us develop these leadership skills. Mr. Toastmaster.